Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. Today, we'll be continuing our journey into Act 7, covering all of the easiest parts. If multiple parts are an option in a quest, I will cover them all. Remember that these are just what I found easier, and your roster and experiences may vary. So let's dive in. Act 7, Chapter 2, Quest Number 3, Footsies. I wonder if we'll be using Kingpin and Ghost today. We actually have two paths we can take in this chapter, depending on your roster. Our first path is up and to the right towards Ronan, and for this path we'll be using Kingpin and Ghost. Well, that didn't take long. Here we will find our first superiority node, even footing. This works in conjunction with the dynamo node below it. If you are the same class as the defender, you will gain large amounts of energy resistance for having furies, armor ups, or prowess buffs, not passives. And these buffs are paused whilst you're suffering from a shock, incinerate, or cold snap effect. This is then meant to be combined with the energy adoption ice and lightning nodes, which are very similar to the ones we saw in 7.2.1. Making contact with a defender has a 50% chance to inflict you with a tiny cold snap or shock debuff, though they do add up. Applying an armor break to the opponent will stop the cold snaps coming through, and applying a poison will stop the shocks. The idea behind the path is fairly self-evident. Match the class of the defender, which is always cosmic or mutant, stack up the relevant buffs, and gain mega energy resistance, and take advantage of your buffs being paused. However, if we are using Kingpin and Ghost here, we can ignore all of that, and just take advantage of all the free debuffs for some insane damage output. Kingpin will shrug off all of the debuffs to gain his rage and overcharge, and Ghost will turn them directly into her mega fury passives. We do have a few other options though that take advantage of the node. Havoc will go into overdrive on this path, as every time he takes energy damage, he applies one of his plasmas to the opponent, and this will cause them to detonate very rapidly. OG Storm will gain prowess very quickly from the shocks, and this will allow her specials to hit very, very hard. She is also mutant with a lot of prowess buffs, so we can take advantage of it like that as well. Captain Marvel Movie will very rapidly gain her binary charges, allowing you to go into binary ignition within just one or two combos probably. Silver Surfer will also gain extra red damage from each of the cold snap or shock debuffs on him, and champions like Hyperion, Medusa and Gamora that gain lots of fury and armor up buffs will be good for the cosmic fights, and champions like OG Storm, Professor X and White Mags for the mutant fights, as the dynamo node here will let you pause their buffs for some very high damage output. Champions that are double immune here are few and far between, so if you don't have one of the above options, I'd recommend our second path. Path 2 is up and up towards Superior Ironman. Here we will find redlining, unblockable specials, and Specialist 2. Redlining means that whilst you are between 1 bar and 2.25 bars of power, you will gain twice as much. Go over that limit though, and you'll be drained all the way back down to 0. Specialist 2 means that your special 2s will do 50% more damage, but your special 1s will do 50% less. And finally, unblockable specials means that the defender specials will be unblockable. And that's it. Bring your favourite big special 2 champion, and just make them bigger. Anyone that relies on special 3s though won't be good here, as you can't really access them. You will need a Havoc counter and a Terex counter, but there really isn't much to this path at all. And if this video is helping you, please launch a massive special 2 into that like button. The boss we'll be taking in this quest is Venom the Duck. Unless you have access to a Guillotine 2099, then I'd recommend you take the Punisher boss. If you take Punisher 2099, he will gain power charges every time you hit him, and whenever he uses a special attack, they are all consumed to refund him 10% of the power that special cost. However, if you hit him with your own special attack, they will inflict direct damage instead. What makes this fight particularly annoying is that you can only gain power when he crosses a bar. And Guillotine 2099 is so good for this fight, as you can push him over 1 bar of power, so you gain yours, throw your special 1 to power drain him back below 1 special 1, inflict the burst damage, and just repeat this until he falls over. You can take this fight with other champions, but you will be taking a lot of block damage, and Punisher will be spamming special after special after special. If you don't have Guillotine 2099, then we have Venom the Duck to deal with. Champions with really good crit stats are highly recommended here, as we have to deal with crit me with your best shot. Venom the Duck will only take damage from critical hits. No damage over time, no bursts, nothing. Crits only. This is the same node we saw on the 6.3.6 Captain America Infinity War boss. Due to the critical eye node though, every time you crit Venom the Duck, he will gain an unblockable charge. Every time he attacks, he will consume a charge regardless of whether he hits or not. However, intercepting him will remove all charges, giving you a 20% crit chance passive for each charge removed. And critical setup means that if you end a combo with the same attack as your previous one, you get guaranteed critical hits. So we have two ways of gaining extra crit chance in this fight, but without crits you cannot do damage. Best options here are champions with naturally high crit chances or easy access to guaranteed crits. Hitmonkey, Bullseye, Adam Warlock, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Shang-Chi and Mole Man would all do great here. Champions with easy access to intercepts to get charges from Critical Eye can also work. So for our team, well, we have multiple options for paths and bosses, so building a team really depends on our options. If you're going to take the Ronan path, then Ghost, Wasp, Kingpin will shred the path, leaving us with two options for the boss. Hitmonkey and Adam Warlock will round out this team quite nicely. I like having two options for this boss, as Venom the Duck can be tricky. It's a long fight, and hence there are more chances for things to go wrong. If we take the superior Ironman path, then our options really open up. We need a Havoc and a Terrax counter, or just play around them. Warlock and Absorbing Man will cover them just fine, and sticking with Hitmonkey and Adam Warlock, we now have a fifth slot that we can use for another boss option, say Bullseye or Shang-Chi, or another path option, such as Colossus. Fairly soon, after this video goes out, I will try and get up a short commentated video of me going through this path with the exact team I suggest above. It'll be much more relaxed, but should hopefully give you some more insight into how I look at getting around these issues. I will also try and answer popular questions from this video and that video, so please leave your questions down below. As always, remember that this is story content, so it won't be going anywhere anytime soon. If you get stuck here and find yourself spending lots of resources, stop and focus on something else. The monthly event quest and side quests are great places to pick up more materials, shards and units, as are battlegrounds and the arena. So that's it. Everything you need to know to clear all of 7.2.3. I have a whole list of things in the works, including a few secret things, but we'll be focusing on Act 7 for the near future, as well as the So You've Just Pulled series. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see down below. I also have a Discord server, so please go and join that. A great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future video topics, and as long as I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, and please do all the YouTube stuff. Thank you, and I will see you next time.